what we just learned about the Bollinger Band. What's your intake on it?
So looking at like real time, that last little candlestick, it's more than likely about to go up because it closed on the on the red line in green. So it's likely about to test resistance.
Man, you hit it right on the head. And the immediate resistance technically is right here. Don't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
This is like the immediate support and resistance that has been trading since November the 24th. Like after it made that drop, it's been trading like in this range here. So, so this price action looks very bullish. This looks very bullish too, y'all. And I'm thinking that we're going to be dancing above this line now. You know, so I'm thinking that it's going to test like $19. Because this was the old trading run. Am I wrong or right? This was the
that's right.
So I think we're about to move back into this trading range. What y'all think? It's about to basically have a correction and go back into its old trading range. And I'm thinking, yeah, so I think it wants to get back here and start bouncing back in here now. You know, so because if you, yeah, so so let's look at that's the day, and this day, look, the mouth is wide open here. That's very bullish. What's that?
With the back D open like that, with the mouth open like that, and then on the day, what other could you look at, like maybe like the volume, I guess, to see it that day and see if, because like the volume just tells
how much money is going into that stock. How much money is going into that stock?
Is going in and out, or just in?
Into that stock. How many people are buying shares of that stock?
Oh, okay, that's why I never understood that. So okay, so if it has high volume, which means more going in, we probably can determine if the day is going to close green. Would that be
right? So for example, right, like I don't know the average volume for this, right? Well, I mean, we can probably go to Yahoo.com or Yahoo Finance, but let's just make up a number, right? Let's just say this day, you know, typically the average volume for American Airlines is, let's just say 2 million a day average, right? And then next thing you know, that's why when you ever heard of like on Ameritrade, like unusual activity. Y'all heard that before, like in stocks, like, oh man, this stock has unusual activity. Like a TD Ameritrade tells you that, maybe Webull or Robinhood. When you hear that, that means that, okay, this stock is having more volume put into it than normal. So maybe it was used to having 2 million a day, but now all of a sudden it's having 4 million. The volume doubled. So yeah, those are things you need to look for, because every day you should be looking at the volume. You know what I mean? Because the volume makes it move. Maybe like this stock only really moves average a day, maybe $1 a day, $1.50 a day, right? But you may have this stock, you know, out of nowhere. Let's say here, like maybe this one moved, like on this day, it went from $19. Shit, this only went like $1. Or whatever. Let's see here. Because, well, I guess what I was trying to say is American Airlines probably only move about 50 cents a day. Let's see here. In a day's time. 1995. Yeah, maybe like 60 or 70 cents a day at the most, right? So if you see American Airlines move $1.50, that's probably because it got more volume in it. You know what I mean? Because people are trying to push this. People, they know that this is a discount down here, and then people probably heard some good news, and it's going to push it up, right? So yeah, volume counts a lot. You do want to pay attention to that. You know, or maybe people expecting earnings are coming around the corner, so people are investing into this stock, you know. So yeah, if that answers your question about the volume, Adrian.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it does. It definitely plays a role. see here. Go to the 4 hour. That's what I was going to do here. So now on the 4 hour, so when I look at the day, I break it down to the 4 hour. Now I'm looking at my 4 hour. Now I know what's happening overall in the one day, right? Now I want to look at my 4 hour because my 4 hour is going to dictate what happens in my day chart. Just like my 3 hour or 2 hour or 1 hour chart, the lower time frames that you go to is happening more and more in real time. So if I'm looking at my lower time frame and I'm seeing things are happening in my lower time frame, it's automatically going to reflect what's going to happen in the higher time frames. Because the higher time frame is only mimicking what the lower time frames are doing. Okay, so for example here, like we see the tongue right here, right? So if it comes back down to like, let's just say $17 here, right? And obviously if we see it close below this, we know that it's going to be testing support again, right? Or if it doesn't close, it may not even come back to this red line, to be honest with you. It may just continue to keep going up, right? But if we do retest this line, you know what I mean, then we can determine which way this stock is going to go based upon how this candlestick closes on this red line here. And that's what I look at really in my 4 hour time frame, you know. And then I may go down to like the 2 hour. Well, really, I do the 2 hour and the 1 hour, but I typically like the 1 hour here. And, you know, and as long as that 1 hour is dancing above this, we're going to keep going up. And I wanna kind of find because the stock market been such in a bearish trend that it doesn't. I want to show like, especially like in the more of the 1 day, like how it doesn't even. Let's just say maybe here. We can kind of maybe say here because this was bullish right here, right? This was kind of like our support and resistance for a little bit. Let's do this, for example, because this went bullish here, right? So we closed on it. You see how it closed right here, guys? Right here is like on July this year of January, the 21st, it closed, right? And then we went bullish. It shot up for something happened. What happened on this time where the COVID, you know, they're talking about the economy was supposed to recover, and all this other stuff, right? And then it shot right back down. But listen, when it shot down, did it close below this line? Did it? Nah, it didn't. Look what happened. It was dancing above this line, dancing right here. It tried to go, but it was dancing, you know? So typically, from January the 25th, right, to March. So basically for 3 months, it was dancing. It was very bullish. Are y'all following where I'm coming from? Why this line is important now? I wanted to show you how to look on a bullish run. This is how you know if a stock can keep going. Like this is the only time I would tell you that you can trade in the middle of a trend if you're using the Bollinger Band. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You have to be really, huh?
You wouldn't want to buy in on green unless it stays above that line a few times.
Right. Let's just say that you got an option. You just found this play on this day, right? And you know how to read this Bollinger Band, right? You see it was dancing, right? It was just been dancing. What I'm saying is that even if it, because remember I told you only trade at support, right? I tell everybody newbies, trade at support because you're going to lower your risk. You got your stop loss ready. You know what I mean? And you just minimize your losses. But the people that know how to read charts and understand these indicators, I will make a trade right here. Like literally, because I would already read like, okay, we broke this right here, right? We broke it, right? And we're dancing on it. So I would say, listen, yeah, we retrace, it bounced, right? And I'll tell myself again, if it closed green here on this day at 3:45 before the stock market closed, I'm going to buy this call play. That's how I will be talking to myself. Even though I tell you don't buy in the middle of a trend, because this is in the middle of a trend right here. This is in the middle of a trend, you know? But because of the information that I know that, you know, if it closes right there, that I know that I'll have a high probability of it continue to keep going up, you know? And you can just keep riding that bad boy all the way up, because you kind of look at this as a safety net. Does that make sense? You know, you kind of use this as your brick wall. Like, okay, as long as you don't break this brick wall, you know, I know it's going to continue to be bullish. You know, that's how you can kind of talk to yourself. Because you got to talk to yourself when you're in these trades, or before you get into a trade, when you're using these indicators. Okay, so I just wanted to give you an example how it looks when you see something on a bullish run, and how it dances on that line. You know, and let's see, can we find somewhere else in American Airlines where it did the same thing? Hey, boy, American Airlines, boy, that bad boy, man. I mean, if you just great day. I mean, you really can make some money when the economy get good. Well, down here, man, they gonna eat. I mean, shoot, they gonna flip their money at least 300%. They go back up to the resistance of 50. At least 200%, for sure. You know, but let's see here. And again, the reason I'm going over this, because every time you're not going to see this movement here, right? Remember I told you the red, when it closed red and it's green and it shoots up, sometimes you know it may not always be that may not always be the case. You know, where you have that green line sitting down here. I mean, you have, you know, the red and the green closing right next to each other for a bullish run. So I want to show you how to use the middle line here, you know, to get in trades as well. Excuse me. Let's see, can we find it up? Let's find another stock here. Since Apple was on a bull run, let's look at Apple. So let's look at this, for example, right here, right? Apple's been on a bull run. Apple's been on the bull run since, wow. Let me see here. Well, we'll use this right here, right? So from right here, right? So we seen it go up. Y'all see it close on the Bollinger Band, right? So you know I am blowing no smoke, right? The proof, what they say, the pudding is in the, you know, the proof is in the pudding. That's what they say, right? So it's here, right? And you see that we just been dancing here, above this line here. It didn't break at all. I mean, and this was from, you know, April all the way to September, just dancing. I mean, it did break right here. It did, right? But then it went back up, and it just was just dancing. You know what I mean? Actually, it separated itself from this line, actually. Then obviously, you know, what's that?
I was going to say, even though it broke the middle, I guess the average of the Bollinger Band, the red there, the tongue, you'd still be up majorly, right? If you had like an option, a call option, right?
Exactly. And guess what? You're not even going to panic. You won't even panic because, like I said, once it dropped, you know, because it dropped red right here, right? And then it did go down. It went down for sure, right? But then it retested. You know what I mean? So especially when you're on a bull run like this really doesn't have no weight. You see what I'm saying? When you on a bull run this long, of course it may be a bad day in the market and it sells off. Like, you know what I mean? Like you will have something like that, right? But then obviously it bounced right back up, and it came from like 95 right here, and it just went all the way up to like $1.33. You know, last year in 2020 of August. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So you know, this is why this is important to know. You know what I mean? And like we did yesterday, right? Because this is a bullish trend, look at this. You know? Well, I guess I'll do this. You know, it's traded in this range on the bullish trend. You know? And actually, right here, let's just stop right there. So it was traded in this range forever, right? And then what happened was, it broke the range, tested the old resistance, and kept going up. You know, and then it came here, tested this resistance, and it bounced, and it, you know, so it was doing its thing. But either or, you know, we would have known that this would have went down anyway, based upon it closing right here. You know what I mean? And it went down. You know, but point being is that that was a bullish trend there. That was another example. You know, dancing. And now we can go to today, because we know today, I mean, it definitely was on a bullish trend today, recently. Okay, so like this one started on October the 18th. So from October the 18th, right, when it first broke this right here, right, all the way to today, even today, right? I mean, it's above this line. You see how it dropped down and it tested this line, guys? Remember I told Kiosha that the support for Apple, I said it may drop to 168. It dropped to 168, right? It dropped to like 168 for like 2 days or whatever, right? Even it dropped even right here. It dropped to 167, right? And it tested this line. Y'all starting to connect the dots now? Like this line is super important. So, because that means that I wish Kiosha was on the call, but we're going to go over this next week because she in this place where I can show her, hey, listen, with this Bollinger Band, don't get nervous. The only way you should get nervous, if it goes past this Bollinger Band, then you may want to get out your option because it's going to be a bearish trend. But listen, it's going to test it. Don't worry about it. You know, this is like your safety net. This is your brick wall, right? And it's staying above this line here, you know, and it's just going to push up from here. And guess what it just made when we went over yesterday? When we went over yesterday, it made a what?
1 second. I'll get my high or low. Or low high, excuse me.
Yep, it made another lower high. Right? You know, because there go one right there, right? Then it came back down, right? We created another lower high, went up, went right back down, and now we created another lower high. So we just keep creating more lower highs, which, well, that's why I told you Apple is going to hit 220. That's what it's setting itself up for that. Apple is going to hit, it's going to definitely hit 200. Make it like that. Coach about to make some money off this right here. But I just wanted to bring that up so we can just keep seeing examples of the tongue and why that's important to let you know if something's going to continue to keep being bullish or that stock got exhausted and is about to fall down to support. Cool, Sharika?
Yes.
Okay, I had to make sure. So, are you following me, Sharika? Are these examples making sense to you? Are you starting to see the pattern? How you can utilize this when you're trading?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, and I know Adrian. I know you got it. So, Adrian, what I'm going to have you do, okay? I'll let you start first, okay? So we're going to find a stock, right? Find a stock or crypto, and I want you to find a bullish trend, right? Using the Bollinger Band with the tongue in the middle, right? And just explain that, you know, the basically being a detective and telling us what happened and why it happened. And I want you to find a bearish one as well, maybe in that same stock or a different stock. It doesn't matter, okay? And Sharika, I'm going to ask you to do that next. Are you free to do that, Sharika?
I think so.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, all right, go ahead, Adrian. You know, you can go ahead and pick one. I'm going to stop sharing. Let me stop right here. You can take your time. There's no rush. You can find whatever you need to find.
this was the other one, so I don't want to do that one. I think the last one, I'll just look at this one and see it quick. Let's see what they're doing anyway. Okay. So this is actually my company.
This is the company you work for?
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm buying stock in them. So, well, I'm in the stock thing, so let me see what they're doing.
Okay, I feel you. Got to. That's a very point.
All right. Oh, I'll need a horizontal array. Let's do draw a chat line.
Hey, what you do is use the extended one, so you don't have to keep drawing your lines from left to right if you decide to go left to right. You see what I'm saying? Use the extended.
Oh, that's the one. Okay.
Yeah. So you don't have to keep stretching it across the screen.
The other one had these horizontal ones that kind of came across. So that looks like our first set of support coming from the left side, reading the chart. And we wrote this up here. This looks like going to be our area of first resistance.
Yep.
Come down. There we go. Okay, I get that our first area of resistance. Then we came back down.
Yep.
Testing this. This is our second level of
Look at him. Yep.
Okay. We rolled back up and tested our old resistance. We broke through for a second. Came back down. Came back down. Came back down.
But what was the great thing about? So what was the great thing about testing that resistance? What did it create?
A higher high. Low high.
Well, no. It created a new higher high. And why did it create a new higher high? What determines if you create a new higher high or not?
We broke our resistance right here.
Which resistance? From what? What do you mean by that? Broke? Yeah, you're right. We broke resistance. But go. Oh, yeah. Okay. Talk about that.
Okay, this is our first resistance. No, excuse me. That's our first support. Excuse me. So this was our first resistance right here. We dropped down, caught support. We came back up. So it broke our first resistance. We're staying above our tongue in the Bollinger Band, which is also good. We came back down and tested that tongue here and played around a little bit, but we were able to come back up. So we've been staying in this area. This kind of is not great because it's playing around in here, but like you said, it could take a couple of days down, and then but it looks like it bounced back up. Close on this middle, and then when it closes here on a green day, we can expect a slight bearish trend to go up for the next couple of days. But here, what were you saying? Kind of like
Well, what I wanted to explain was the higher high, so which is a good sign that in the future the stock is going to go up. Because when you beat the last peak, which you had your hand on, the last peak to the left, right? It beat that higher high. I mean, it beat that. So anytime when the next peak is higher than your last peak, that's called a higher high. Which even if it comes back down to support, that's fine, right? But the traders know, like, hey, listen. We created a higher high before, so we can expect for this stock to go up higher than with the last peak, which is exciting.
This is possible.
Right. Because even if you look from left to right, like that's why it's good to look from left to right because that's going to tell you what peak is going to test next anyway. You get what I'm saying? So so if you was going to draw these lines, it was better to start from left to right, right? Mm-hmm. So you can kind of see visually what you're going to be testing because everything that you're going to be testing in the future, right, is really going to, wherever the price is going to be headed in the future, is going to test the resistance from the past. So it's good to, that's why I always teach you to start from left to right. If you're going to draw your lines from left to right, if you, then you need to start maybe from like 2 years ago. And then stop a year, like 1.5 years to 2 years ago, because let's just say you didn't know anything that was going to happen once it dropped down from the higher high and it went down to support. You don't know where the next like if we're going to create another higher high which we did, right? What do you can always know when the next pullback is going to be when you look in the past. Like go to your left, go all the way to your left. That's why I was teaching the first day about going from left to right. If you're going to draw your supporter, because you started it like within the last few months, right? So cause I didn't know he was going to draw the resistance. I just wanted you to talk about the Bollinger Band. But if you're going to draw the supporter resistance, you need to start from left to right. You get what I'm saying? So no, not right there. That's fine because we're way past that. But we're past that point, right? But you need to do it from left to right from here. Like you need to start with like to the left right here. Like right there, that's when you need to start your support and resistance.
Okay, so the first one should have been here for support. First resistance was right here. Well, actually held.
It lined up perfectly. That's why I said it lined up perfectly. I told you it's going to line up perfectly, but I just wanted you to, if you're going to do that, just start from left to right. So it can line up perfectly from left to right, not from right to left.
So it appears that we have some weekends in here because for it to be here and then jumping up here.
Yeah, that was a Monday. Yeah, so this had to be a Monday. I mean, that was a Monday. This probably was a Friday on April the 21st. And then if you go to that candlestick right there, that was a 20. No, actually, it wasn't.
That's Saturday. Yeah, that's day to day. Okay, I don't know why it skipped like that.
No, well, because of news.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like stocks that pop up 30 points, bro. Like, like it went up 42 to what? 52. It went up $10 the next day.
Yeah, I forgot aftermarket too. Okay. So we were in this area here talking about here coming down to the resistance that we came up here. For the trend we had a new higher high, but when we see it over here, actually was a higher high. So I opened it up. So we came back down. We tested the tongue again. Looks like we broke the tongue, closing in red, so kind of gets a little downtrend for a couple of days. But when we came back up, we closed green on this one.
Now, let's talk about the Bollinger Band. When you went down, right, to support, like you just said right there, what you notice right there?
We hit support, and there's a green close and an open green right here. But it doesn't give you that signal that morning started, so it was a continuation that we talked about before. So what would you say about this here?
Well, I was just saying that at the bottom of that Bollinger Band, we got a red and we got a green.
Open it,
support. At support.
So that means it's going to go up from here because the green opened up, right?
Correct. It closed that day. It closed green.
Mm-hmm.
So that lets you know for the next couple of days, this thing's going to test support, the resistance.
Okay.
Like the next 5 or 6 days, we're going to be heading up to resistance because it took 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. It took 5 days for it to get up to resistance.
Yep.
That's why I start with the day chart, because the day chart tell you what's going to happen overall, where the momentum's going.
So we tested resistance after we tested the bottom bands of the Bollinger Band.
Okay.
Came back up, hit green on the average here, which is actually good to signal a bullish trend.
Okay.
And we went up, and we continued up. We came here and tested resistance. We stayed at resistance here. Stayed at resistance. We closed a little bit below resistance. Wait, it was open and closed. So, no, we closed right at resistance on this one. So we hung out at resistance. We hung out at resistance for a couple of days here.
Yeah, we did.
Then, once we closed above resistance here, we're now starting to create that more of a bullish trend because we're staying above the tongue in the Bollinger Band here.
Okay.
So it looks like here we're pretty much testing resistance, still above the average in the the tongue in the Bollinger Band. Here we closed above resistance and above the tongue. We closed above the resistance and the tongue. But why is this so red here?
You said what?
Why this one